everybody, and welcome to this episode. And I am just loving today. I'm having Mackenzie Belcastro, and is a magical realism novelist and copywriter for holistic coaches in the wellness and personal development fields. A lover of people and connection, she is also a workshop and event host. Welcome, Mackenzie.
Thanks so much for having me, Viktoriia. Really, such a treat to chat with you every time. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, I love it. All right, so let's get into our deeper questions. All right, so the first question is, I would love to hear your story. Why do you feel like you are on purpose, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's a great question, actually. I think for me, with half of the work that I do, which is more freelance based, it's really about getting the messages of people such as yourself, like coaches, who are, in my opinion, saving the world through providing like emotional intelligence to people. And it's starting to share them a little bit more with more people because for me, it's all about like how can we get to a place within ourselves where we're at peace and we're happy. So as long as I'm providing what I specialize in with writing to coaches who allow people to do that, that's what brings me so much joy. And then with the events, it's bringing people together because I feel like loneliness is such a big epidemic in the world right now. So bringing people together and getting them to talk and feel open and not judged, that brings me so much joy. And then the novel is more like my artwork, I feel, and that's where it's raw creative expression. But then also that's where I go deeper within myself and I get to pull out usually subconscious things that I don't even necessarily understand at first, but then end up being like larger truths that I've come to in my life.
How did you start out on that?
Yeah, it was honestly such a like a roller coaster. I used to work in the fashion industry and it's a very fast moving industry and I was so burnt out. So I like quit and was really trying to find who I am and like what makes me happy. So I started to freelance write basically for no money for quite a while. I didn't really understand the business, but I knew because it was that thing, it was work that didn't feel like work. It was like what brought me so much joy, like to research about something and then find a way to meld that into an article that people would want to read was like the best thing in the world for me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to find a way. And then I just became determined. And it was like years of going to conferences, learning the business because the business makes or breaks you. And then just continuing to check along and meet more people. And the fiction came from a writers group and inspiration from other writers. And yeah, it's been such a journey on it, honestly.
I love that. I love it. I love it. Yeah, we all going through that stages when we go in learning, and then we started producing finally, and it feels
Mhm.
so good.
Good.
What is
Yeah.
the number one mistake that you wish you could have done differently? I know there's no regrets, but what is that number one thing?
It's a great question. I honestly, for me, it's something I realized this year because this year, early in the year, I got a business coach and he changed so much for me. Like and you think I can do it on my own. I can always do it on my own. Or if you're an individualist or not like that kind of person, entrepreneurial, like you think, why do I need to pay somebody this much to do this? There is something so therapeutic and also like they throw you in the waters and then also are there for you to support you along the way. And so that was the biggest changer for me. It was like actually letting go of the ego and being more humble and being like, I actually need help. How can you assist me? And it was changed so much.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. That is all. I think it's like one of my number one top three. It's yes, get a help. If you have a big dreams need big help.
That's
What is the number one tip you can give to our audience? Like the number one to go thing, they can take it right now, they can implement it and just feel so accomplished.
Yeah, I guess those are two different answers. For somebody who's working on like copy with their business, I feel what a lot of people don't do well is they just focus on the business. They don't focus on like the emotional pull. So I always find like what actually converts to sales is like when you have that story piece intertwined, like you don't have to go into a full blown narrative, but if
Yeah.
you can include little details like that or share a little bit about yourself, people connect to people. And so that's usually where you start to get that conversion. And then just in life at large for the entrepreneurial set, for me, it's two things. One, it's really having that journaling practice because you need to pour out. And then the other, because in that you come to your why, which is to loop it around to that first question you asked me, I think is the most important thing, to know what you're doing and why. So, yeah. Oh, you know what? I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've been muted. That it happens. So where did you start with this emotional pieces that you said? If they
Where did
don't
I
have
start with
that in place, and right now they will be, okay, let me go back to the old post and repost them. Like, how do you bring this into your copy?
Sure. Okay. I think sometimes it's harder to actually edit. Like, you might have posts that honestly are potentially you just need to get rid of. But if you want to start, I would always say look back to, if you're a coach trying to sell the experience of living your best life or whatever, it's go back to where you were when you weren't living that life and think about how you were feeling in that time. Maybe share an anecdote from that time, because I feel like once you can put yourself right into that place, that mindset, that headspace, you can share any memory from that, and that will be visceral to your market, because they'll be like, that's where I am, like that's me. And so you share that little piece from your past. That can be so powerful with respect to storytelling, converting to sales, because they just want to relate.
Love it. Yeah. So I hear you got to relate to them. When people relate to you, they want to buy from you, they like you, they know you, they feel like they know you. And the bonus question is, if you really knew me, you will know blank. What will that be?
Yeah, this is pretty easy for me, because the thing is, I feel like people who don't know me don't realize like I can be like so goofy sometimes, but I can be very reserved too. But people who do know me know that I'm like, my family like knows I'm like truly a strange person. Like, I have like, the weirdest thoughts. They come in, and my friend calls it like the highly creative brain, because it's just like thoughts whirling around, and I say things and I'm like blah 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 blah, and I'm like shooting them off, and people can't follow me, and I'll ramble blah blah blah. But not everybody sees that, because try to compose yourself sometimes in front of like other people. But with family and with close people in your life, I have such a strange mind. But that's it.
Awesome. I love that. Instead of rambling and things and just going crazy. Yeah, all creative people are going through it a lot. So what are you, share with us how people can find you, how the ladies can find you, and where to look for you?
Yeah, I feel like these days the easiest thing, as probably most people tell you, is Instagram, because it's like the epicenter of everything, which there I'm just MACK, Belcastro, which is a little bit longer, but BELCASTRO. And then my website too, but that's all linked out through Instagram. So I feel like that's the easiest thing to say to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mackenzie. And I've been just so pleasure to have you here, my projector sister.
Yes, it's such a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And we'll see you in the next episode. Stay tuned. Bye. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you love this podcast, please make sure to rate, subscribe, and review it. And of course, you can get in touch with me everywhere online at purposefulwithdoubleLday.com. And I can't wait to see you next time. Kisses!